Now, let's say you are below 25 years and you have yourself 2000, or you can afford 2000, either continuously or maybe unpredictably, meaning like you can get today, get next time, get the other time, or something also. But the point is this: you can afford to get your 2000 somewhere and you're below 25. Now, I'm going to teach you a very nice and good formula on how you can be able to invest your money. And guess what? Do something amazing that you've always been despising out there. And I want us to make a deal today. If it works out for you, grab my number from the description of this video and one day buy me a coffee. All right? But anyway, you can do this if you don't want to miss any of my good videos in future, because this is type of the videos I usually post each and every time. Okay, each and every day. Actually, down below there on your right, there's like a small button written subscribe. By the way, it is free, doesn't cost you anything, only 1 second. Hit that command button and then like this video. And by the way, do that. By only doing that, whole YouTube will notify you whenever I upload a new good video. So let's get to the point. Now, there you are. You're below 25, all right? You're below 25. Maybe let's say you just finished campus, or you're about to finish campus or something also, all right? Or maybe you've never gone to campus. It's just any other individual who is out there. No problem. This formula works and applies for anyone, okay? And there you are. You can afford to get yourself 2,000 Kenyan shillings. 2,000 Kenyan shillings, okay? This is the target that I want you to give and apply it in your life right now. Don't watch this video and then go back to the same situation. Now, which year are we? We are in 2023, okay? And this is the target. This is the target. By 2027, and don't think it is far, 2027, we will have what we call a general election. All right? And by the way, don't think it's far. By a few years, you just see those campaign caravans passing by each and every place, and they're asking you to give them their kuras and what have you. Now, how many years will those be? That will be 4 years from today. Now, this is what I want you to do. Give yourself this target, and you'll only be at 29, or maybe let's say at 28. This is what I want you to do. You have your 2,000. Do this. Now, your 2,000, whether it is continuous 2,000 each and every time, maybe after 2 weeks, a week, or maybe after a month, okay? Or maybe it's unpredictable, okay? This is what I want you to do. Pick one thing that can work for you. For example, I can advise you can pick an MMF, okay? That is a money market fund, or you can pick a SACCO. Or for me, if you ask me, I would advise you pick two things. I would advise you pick an MMF, okay, and pick shares. You know why? At this particular age, at below 25, you are working to do what? You are working things that we call long-term goals. Long-term goals, okay? This is what I want you to do. Pick an MMF and pick shares. Pick an MMF that is not expensive. There's some MMF you can even start it with as low as 100 Kenyan shillings. Imagine, mia moja, just 100 Kenyan shillings. Just 100 Kenyan shillings. You pick an MMF that you can actually invest as low as 100 Kenyan shillings. So pick that MMF, let's call that MMF Z, okay? Now, you pick that MMF that you can actually be posting or maybe depositing that 100 Kenyan shillings. Now, it can be either daily. If you do so daily, then this will make it 3,000 at the end of the month. Say maybe you don't even manage to hit the target of 3,000 at the end of the month. You can manage to hit a target of at least 2,000 at the end of the day, okay? When you pick that MMF, keep on depositing some money out there. Guess what you're doing? You're not only saving, but you're also doing what? You're also investing, okay? And then on the other side, on SACCOs, there are some SACCOs that you can actually get started with as low as maybe 1,000 bob as the minimum deposit. So once you pick these two things, make sure that each and every month, or maybe each and every time, whenever the time you get your 1,000 bob, let's say today you've gotten your 1,000 bob, maybe after a week you get another 1,000 bob, after 2 weeks you get another 1,000 bob, but at least make sure that within a month, there is a 2,000 Kenyan shillings that you set aside for the purposes of investment. Let me repeat my point. Make sure at least within 1 month, there is 2,000 that at least you set aside for the purposes of investment. Even if that means you not grabbing that coffee, not grabbing that drink somewhere, means that you're not grabbing that outing and what have you, provided you make sure that there is at least 2,000 somewhere that you set aside, all right? And by the way, don't overstretch. Don't, because Joseph said that you can set aside 2,000, there you are, you're sacrificing even the basic things and you're putting all your money out there, because at the end of the day you're gonna withdraw them, okay? Now the point is this. No, I did not say shares, SACCOs. I meant shares. So this is what I want you to do. There's some shares that you can actually buy with as low as 1,000 Kenyan shillings. Now, this is what I want to tell you. we have close to 63 companies that are called PSC and listed under the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Now, that what you invest on MMF, this money is withdrawable. This money you can access it anytime you want. This money can actually, it's actually gaining new interest as the time goes. And this money, guess what happens? Even if an emergency happens, you can always access your money. On the other side, view shares as a long-term way of investment. Don't bother. This is kind of the money that usually put it out there and quote unquote we forget. Quote unquote, you know what I mean when I say as a Kenyan tunajisahaulisha ama tuna forget. That's how you do it. Say you pick a company here with 1,000 bob, or maybe let's say 1,500, and I told you with 1,500 you are capable of buying close to 20 companies shares. Okay, now, this is the point. You buy yourself shares of a given company or companies, okay? And then you keep on continuously feeding that beast. What do I mean? That each and every time you access your 1,000 bob, you go to that company, you buy shares, you buy shares, you buy shares continuously. Can you just imagine what will happen in the next 4 years? And let me tell you one secret. Because maybe let's say you're below 25, you're not even thinking about marrying. And if you are, and you're not financially stable, I'm not a marriage counselor, but I don't think you are right, especially if you're a man. So what you should do is that make sure at all the time you feed these two beasts. Now, which is the beast? The beast number one is the what? Beast number one is the MMF, okay? Beast number one is the MMF, and the beast number two is the what? Is the shares. Now, this is how I want you to look at it. Hapa kwa MMF, I said unaweza pick an MMF that is even 100 Kenyan shillings per day. So, let's say you pick an MMF that will be setting aside, let's say 500 Kenyan shillings. 500, okay? 500. And then the other side, you can pick something that you'll be setting aside 1,500. Because I said at this age, you're focusing on growing yourself, growing your portfolio. Now, this is what happens. This amount of money attracts something close to 9.8% or close to 10.5%. Sometimes it can even go to 11%. Okay, this amount of money that you're setting aside continuously. And I said, anytime you get this money, you can put in this MMF. Okay, if you would like to know which MMF you can start with as low as 100 Kenyan shillings, watch my previous video. I said examples of the best MMF that you can be able to pick. And I gave at least 2 examples there that you can pick that is actually you can start with as low as 100 Kenyan shillings. Now, after doing that, any moment you get that money, you set it aside, you deposit in that specific MMF company account of viewers continuously. Once you manage to get your 1,500, and then you can be able to do so. And by the way, let me give you a trick on how you can be able to do if you do not manage to get this money at a go. You can actually keep on depositing, let's say 100, 200, 300, 400, until maybe it reaches to a point of 1,500. You can withdraw this money, buy shares, deposit to this side, then feed the other beast. That's how we do it. I remember sometimes you don't have money to invest on treasury bills and treasury bonds because they require like 50,000 or 100,000, but you don't have that money. What do? You deposit here. You deposit here on MMF because you can deposit as low as you can. It's gaining new interest. Within a year, you have your 50,000 or 100,000. Now you invest on the treasury bills and treasury bonds, and then you come back to this place. You keep on depositing. You get the amount. You invest on this because treasury bills and treasury bonds usually have high interest rate compared to MMF shares and what have you, because right now we have some have even close to even 17%. Okay, so the point is this. Anyway, that's not where we are. This is where we are. So you keep on depositing money on this MMF of yours until it reaches to a point whereby you can be able to raise this amount of money. You buy yourself shares, okay, because your chances of making money on shares is quite high compared to MMF. But again, as much as that is the case, also risks are also a little bit higher compared to these ones. But of course, you see, what you do is that you invest on a company or with companies that are quite stable and companies that actually have a bright future. And what you do what we call the prospectors. Those companies are actually companies that stand a very high chances of growing in future. Okay, now this is the point. You feed this beast continuously. Let's say maybe you feed let's say 1,000 bob on this side, and let's say you feed 1,000 bob on this side. Let's say you have the capability of doing exactly that. Now this is 2,000 if you add this. At this particular end, you are entitled to earning in 2 ways. A, you having what we call dividends. Okay. B, you have what we call capital gains. Okay. You have capital gain, meaning a share can increase in price, and again you can be able to resell those shares and be able to do something. But if you ask me, don't sell those shares, even if you feel like they're so good. Okay, don't sell them unless maybe you're seeing like the company is collapsing or something of sort. Okay, but the point is this: I want you to give yourself a period of 4 years. And I know you are young. When I say 4 years, you feel like, hey Joseph, that sounds like forever. I remember there was a time you were like you, and that's what we used to think. And right now we are saying, hey, I really wish we made a decision, because honestly speaking, I could have afforded that 100 bob, 200, that 2000 or something of sort. Okay, before you go grab that Air Force Jordan and whatever, just ask yourself, how does my future look like? And for example, if you open your eyes and look at our country the way it is right now, people are actually out there hustling and trying the best they can. Why? Because there are no jobs, that's for sure. And that's why people are trying the best they can to, fill in those, I don't know, DV lottery and what have you, to get out of this country, because there are no jobs. For you, before actually it comes to a point whereby you get yourself a problem, you better get these things on board. And guess what will happen? Because one day you'll have a family, you'll have kids to educate. If you can be able to feed this beast, a time will come where you'll not only be educating your kids with this money, but also you can be able to sustain your life using this amount of money. Let us not behave as if something will never happen. Okay, you see, we live in a life like whereby we feel like, okay, if I see I'm young, one day I'll get married, and usually it's good to have hope, but again at the same time it's good to do some actions, do something for the sake of that. Because I always tell you, success is always an intersection between a hard work and what we call luck. So if you do not have a hard work, you're waiting for the luck to fall on your area. It can, but you do not have the brain, because you see, if you're hard work, you tend to program your brain and you tend to become strong. Anyway, that's on the point. Point is this: in this section of the shares, you earn in two ways. You have the dividends, and you have what we call the capital gain. On this side, which is the MMF, you have what we call a compounding interest. A compounding interest. And on this section, it means that, hey, the amount of money that you're getting, you can actually go do something that is called a rollover. You see, you can roll over and be able to reinvest that amount of money, the principal amount that you invested plus that what you've earned as an interest, and then you roll it over, and then the same amount of money, it attracts the interest that has been given for you, or the interest that is out there. So if you do this continuously for the next 4 years, and this is the challenge I want to give you there, go do these things. If it works out, don't forget me. You can always grab my number from the description of this specific video. And by the way, talking of grabbing my number, actually for real, my number is on the description of this specific video. You can grab it. Perhaps you do not have an information on how you can be able to get started on shares. I have a booklet on shares, explains everything about shares. You can grab it. It's only $280, gives you all the information. The other side, on the booklet about MMF, is still available as well at 280 Kenyan shillings, explains everything about MMF. What are the examples of the companies? How do I get started on all those kind of things? All right. So I don't find any reason as to why you shouldn't invest in these two booklets, because it's all about information. You invest yourself, and by the time you realize 4 years coming, you're done. You have some money, you have some investment somewhere. Now you're not even struggling out there. And guess what? That marks the end of my video. But don't forget, what did I tell you? I always post a video each and every day talking about things like this. If you don't want to miss any good videos of mine in future, grab my number, or rather grab that specific subscription button, and as well like this video, and see you in the next one, and goodbye.